Hey guys, I'm making this video for fellow YouTubers and as kind of a weird accountability tool because I've got to make some changes when it comes to YouTube. In short, I'm not burned out, and this sounds really crazy to say for the first time on camera, but I just, if I'm honest with you guys, don't want to do this anymore when it comes to YouTube, making these videos, or at the very least, how I've been doing it for the past almost 14 years now. Oddly enough, while thinking about this video, which has been rattling around in my head for a couple years now, I've noticed that I don't seem to be alone in this, with several other YouTubers either leaving the platform, like Maddie, who's taking a year longer break from YouTube, Parker Walbeck stepping away from full-time filmmaker, Jordy from Cinicom quitting the platform, Matt Diavella downsizing from a team of over 10 to a solo creator, and of course, Tom Scott ending his wildly successful channel. I've been watching those and others' videos talking about leaving YouTube, and that's a whole nother video that we could get into, and I've learned a lot from them. So for that, I'm super grateful to them. But in this video, I want to talk about how I got to this point and 10 rules I've created for myself going forward to give this another try in a different way. And I hope this video helps those of you who are also YouTubers and is just beneficial in some way, but I just got to get this stuff off my chest and out there, and it's just been something I've been thinking about for a while. So over the last couple of years, I've really come to dislike making videos and putting them here on YouTube. After panic attacks and having lots of therapy and counseling and thinking about all of this, I think there are 3 reasons I can pin down as to reasons why I'm in this place. First and foremost, I am not a YouTuber. I am a maker at heart. I started this channel almost 14 years ago, and it's taken me this long to realize that I really am a maker who happened to become a YouTuber. Making things and sharing those made things with people is how I'm wired at my core. I've got to make stuff. It's just the way God made me. And sure, filmmaking and YouTube are a way of making something, right? You're making a video, or you're making a film, you're making an image. There's a lot of making involved, but I have been noticing, or feeling at least, that YouTube kind of throws a wet blanket on that. Instead of getting down to building something and then showing it to people, I'm getting bogged down in the process of showing, lighting, filming, all of the stuff that involves running a channel and a business, and less time on actually making something. But the second reason I'm in this place where I don't want to make YouTube videos anymore is mental and emotional health. From 2010 to 2020, this channel, DSLR Video Shooter, grew and grew and grew year over year, always making more than it did the year before. But in 2021, that changed, and I saw the first dip in the history of this business when it comes to finances, and things just continue to drop and drop and drop a lot, and it's continuing to drop even to this day. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm fine, my family is fine, we are not, in trouble or destitute. I'm not trying to start a GoFundMe or anything like that. Now, there are many reasons we could get into, maybe in another video, as to why the numbers were down. But the point I'm trying to get across here is this is very normal for businesses to ebb and flow, for there to be good years and for there to be bad year. But I just could not seem to shake this sense of dread and so much stress as the business started to decline at this period of time. After several panic attacks and getting some fantastic counseling and therapy, I started to uncover some really wild, interesting stuff. And I'd be curious, for those of you who are also content creators or YouTubers, if this is something you've experienced as well. But in short, I had over the years started to tie my identity and value as a person with my business or with this channel. If it did poorly, I was doing poorly. If it was weakening and getting worse, I was weakening and getting worse. This just continued to spiral until it got to a point where I would have, and kind of, if I'm honest, still have, a physical reaction when sitting down to film a video. What ended up happening because of this is I would avoid making a video at all costs, or now looking back, I would subconsciously try to lengthen the research process, and it's because I was dreading the potential of a video flopping and in change me flopping as a person. On top of all of that, I had somehow developed this horrible core value deep down inside that I could not fail. And I don't mean that in like kind of an arrogant, like I can't fail, I'm too good to fail. I mean I can't fail, like it's wrong, it's a sin, it's deeply hurtful and bad to fail or to let down my family, myself, whatever it was like a moral, huge issue if I failed, which is obviously just terrible and really not how anyone should think or live their life. So this meant that as the business and the channel continued to cool off and, I was making less, all of this was just a mess inside of me, and I was having, so much stress and, I think physical and health related issues because I couldn't step away or step out of that and see that, hey, this is okay. It's completely fine for businesses and normal for them to fail or to even have, some down years. And I have to give credit to my wife who really helped me during this time. Like, that's not something I imagine is very fun to be around, but the reassurance that she gave me just to like, hey, it's okay. It sounds insane even saying all of this to you guys. But I want to get this out there because there might be some people in a similar boat, and this is no joke when you're in it. It's really a strange thing, especially when it's something like a YouTube channel where it is kind of you because it's your channel, but at the same time, you've got to separate the two. What the YouTube algorithm does with your videos has no reflection on who you are as a person, your worth, whether or not, you're able to provide. Those are different things, and you've got to separate those two things. That you as a person are over here and the channel is over here. Since all of this went down and was at its peak, things have gotten much, much better. I still, if I'm honest, really don't want to be doing this in the way that I have been doing this, and that's why this video exists. So in a little bit, we're going to talk about how I'm going to change and just kind of throw this whole thing in the trash and rebuild and rewire my brain. So we'll come to that here in a second. But first, I want to talk about the third reason I think I'm done and really tired of making YouTube videos, and that is I'm just tired of it. At this point, I am 14 years into this job of being a YouTuber. And when I'm talking to close friends about this whole thing, which I've been doing a lot, one thing I use as an analogy is kind of like a contractor building houses. When you first start, you're loving it, you're building houses, you're making money, you're doing your thing. But after a certain point, you kind of develop things you enjoy and things you don't enjoy about something. And when it comes to making a video, if that's a house, you look at your next video that you need to do because it's your job, and you don't want to pour another foundation. You don't want to frame out the whole house. You can see all of the work ahead of you, and you just don't want to do it. Throw in all that other fun stuff we already talked about, and you have kind of this mess. And so that's where I'm kind of at, or have been at, is I'm sick of the workflows. I know what I need to do to make a good video or to have a good thumbnail, and I'm just exhausted. I'm tired of it. I'm really over the workflow, the right way to do things. And on top of all of that, this job is really strange and super foreign compared to most jobs in that your input doesn't necessarily equal or equate to equal or higher output. What do I mean by that? If you put, I don't know, a week into a video, that might do nothing. That video might flop, or you could have raging success. Whereas in other industries, you put in a day's work and you sell 5 widgets, you make profit on 5 widgets. So that's one thing that's been very discouraging is input doesn't equal output, especially when things change, right? If YouTube stayed the same and the same amount of people were on the platform, or shorts didn't exist, I don't know, enter whatever you want excuse-wise here, you could kind of, build an equation. There's none of that with this. This is all the wild, wild west, and it's changing all the time. But that was one thing that was really discouraging is input doesn't necessarily equal output. So all of that is why I really just don't want to do YouTube anymore. That said, I'm not ready to throw the towel in yet or quit this. And don't get me wrong, I'm a fan of quitting things that aren't working, but I'm not quite ready to do that. I want to rewire my YouTuber brain to achieve the following goal: to have a peaceful job that brings me joy and serves my family, which is also to say I do not want a stressful job that I hate that my family serves. To achieve this, I have written down 10 rules, and I'm calling these the 10 rules for a better YouTuber life. Maybe I'll write a book someday. These are for me and no one else. That said, I hope they help somebody out there who might be going through something similar, but I'm really making this video as like my own, working on myself, and something I can reference down the road and see how we're doing. So rule number 1 is separating my identity from the identity of the channel. We are not the same thing. The channel is a place where I put videos and hit upload and other people watch them. Sometimes the algorithm finds viewers, sometimes it doesn't, and that's fine. It's just doing its thing over there. I'm over here. My name is Caleb Pike, and I'm not a YouTube channel. I'm a human being with a family and have so many things that are just completely unrelated to a channel. The second rule is not to ride the YouTube wave. If you've been in this game or this job, you will have at least heard of, if not come across in your own career, this thing called the wave, where the algorithm finds viewers for you, and now you have suddenly an influx of audience and views. And traditionally, what you should do when that happens is that's the grind. That's when you saddle up, you settle in, and you crank out content that is working for the viewer or viewers. You can look at any YouTuber, go to their videos, choose sort by popular, and you're often going to find a period of time where they were on the wave. What I'm saying right now is don't play that game. Don't get on the, if you get on the wave, wonderful. Enjoy the ride, but don't strive to stay on that wave, because it is going to take a toll. And then if you're off the wave, the toll it takes trying to get back on is just not worth it. So if I have a video that completely blows up, that's great. I'm gonna celebrate and it's gonna be wonderful, but I'm not gonna try to ride any waves going forward. I'm not gonna try to change my content schedule or the type of content I'm making to keep that wave going. So that's number 2. Number 3 is going to be follow a simple thumbnail workflow. This sounds ridiculous. This is obviously very specific, but it's for me. I often really struggle with thumbnails. And what I mean by that is I know what thumbnails will often do well, but then I'll spend a ton of time freaking out and emotional space or mental space freaking out over that thumbnail. Will it really be the right thumbnail? Should I try this other one or this one or this one? And I waste all this emotional mental energy on this. And then the video goes up, and maybe the video there weren't a lot of viewers for that video, and it flops. And now I'm spending time freaking out. Oh, I should have done this. Should I change it? Should I do this? Should I do that? Going forward, I'm just gonna stick to the workflow that I've developed. It's very simple. It doesn't take a lot of time, and I'm just gonna run with that, and I'm not gonna waste any time double, triple, second guessing myself on all of that before or after the video goes up. So that's rule number 3. Follow the thumbnail plan and don't waste any time. If it does well, wonderful. If it doesn't, who cares? Just move on with your life and be happier. Rule number 4 is gonna go against everything in your entrepreneurial, businessy kind of brain, and that is not to scale. I do not want to scale this beyond what it is. If anything, I want to bring things down, scale back down, get leaner, tighter, less in general. This means not hiring a bunch of people. This means not getting bigger, gianter spaces. This means not trying to blow this up into a, no offense, but Linus Tech Tips level beast. I want to keep this lean. I want to keep this simple, and I want to keep it more enjoyable and more joy-filled. I don't want to build something that I have to have my family serve. I want it to serve my family, going back to that goal. And I want it to bring me joy, and I want to enjoy it. And often when you scale things up, you start doing less of what you love, and you're now managing and stressing this giant thing. So even though there might be more income and all of these wonderful things, you're just not gonna be as happy, or you're not gonna have as much joy or even opportunity or room to explore the things. So I just don't wanna go down that road. So for me, no more scaling or no scaling. If anything, descaling, shrinking, leaning up. Rule number 5 is for me to make my videos, not to make good videos. So if you've hung out with enough YouTubers, you'll often hear the phrase, ooh, that would be a good video. I'm done with that. I wanna make my videos. I wanna make videos I'm excited about or I'm interested in, or I think people would really enjoy. I don't wanna make a good video. So I don't want to make videos that I'm not interested in just because they're good. that means I'm probably going to make a lot of bad videos that don't have as many viewers or people just don't care about, but I do. So those are videos I'm going to pursue. So I'm no longer going to dictate my content schedule based on a video idea that I think would be a good video. Rule number 6, don't fret the schedule or don't even stick to a schedule. I think deadlines are incredibly important. You have to have something to shoot for. One awful, just terrible cycle I would get into for most of my YouTube career is I had a schedule. It would be like, we have to post on Tuesdays every single week. That's the schedule. Once a week. It's not that bad, right? You're full-time. Should be able to achieve that, right? But what would happen is I would get close to Tuesday and either I would post a crappy video or stop a video and quickly make a filler video just to jam into that slot. Or even worse, I would skip the video but just feel terrible. Again, going back to that psychopathic, I can't be wrong, or it's a sin, or it's evil, or you're hurting people if you're wrong or mess up or fail. I would fail and I wouldn't get the video up. Then I would just feel terrible on trying to get that video up, and then I would be behind. It was a mess. So what I've been doing, as you can probably tell with the lack of videos on the channel, and what I will be doing going forward, is don't fret the schedule. If you're not going to make it a week, or in my case, I don't know, maybe a couple a month, whatever my schedule is going to be, if you can't make that week, it's just not going to happen. Don't worry about it. Finish up the video. You can release it the next week. And if you're still able to finish it in a reasonable amount of time, you just bought the next video that much more time to be able to work on. So just relax. It's going to be okay. Again, we're not playing that wave game, so just make videos, release them, move on with your life. Have a good time. So that's rule number 6, don't fret the schedule. Rule number 7 is to ignore the algorithm race. This kind of goes back to don't ride the YouTube wave, but I'm not going to waste any mental, emotional time on the whole, what's the algorithm doing? Is it watch time? Oh, is it views? Is it click-through rate? What is it? Tell me what it is. I'm done with that. I'm going to make videos. I'm going to put them on a website, youtube.com, and move on. I'm not going to watch all those videos that are an hour long promising answers and they never do anything for you. I'm done with that stuff. Rule number 8 is to de-professionalize my job as a YouTuber. I'm a professional YouTuber, and while I might not be, Mr. Beast, I'm in a much smaller niche, but I've been doing this long enough where I do know how best things are done. If you want to succeed or win, there's a lot of things you should be doing, but I'm not going to do those things anymore. I'm going to de-professionalize myself. I'm going to go back and find that bottle of magic that was when I started. When I had an idea, I grabbed a camera, I filmed something, and I put it on a website, youtube.com, and moved on. It's a beautiful, wonderful thing. The amount of time, I don't think people get this, when YouTubers who are doing this full time make a video, if you think about how much time was spent actually creating that video, filming it, editing it, it's a tiny sliver compared to all the other stuff. The thumbnails, the metadata, all that stuff takes so much time, and I'm tired of it. I want to take the making the YouTube video part and blow that back up like it was when I started. And I'm not trying to romanticize, the early days of YouTube. It sucked then. There were things that sucked about that. But I do want to get back to that joy part of it of, oh man, I'm really excited about this. Let's shoot a video and then let's upload it. Let's not go through all the, okay, time to create the tags, time to do all the stuff that takes so much time. I'm de-professionalizing it. I'm not going to be doing that stuff. Rule number 9 is to make stuff. This is super tailored to me, but I have discovered that if I'm not making something, I'm just slowly dying. For better or for worse, that's just the way it is with Caleb Pike. So going forward on the YouTube channel, you may have noticed this the last year or so, I've got to make stuff. So we're going to be making stuff. We're going to be getting back to builds. That means less reviews. I'm not saying I'm not going to do any reviews, but that means definitely less reviews and more building and creating things. And some of that's going to be selling it to you because I'm going to be making it. Other times it's just going to be doing crazy desk setups like this whole desk. Everything's about to change. We're going to build something insane. I got to make stuff. That's a big thing for me. And I'm making this a rule because I don't want to go back to making videos for people that aren't me or just doing something I don't want to do and is just slowly killing me inside. So we're going to be making stuff. The 10th rule is that no matter what, work serves the family. The channel serves my family, not the other way around. So this, for me, a long time has already meant 9 to 5, 5 days a week. I've been sticking with that for a long time, but now I'm going to be blowing that up even more. Less time in the office, more time off, more vacation time. If I get that feeling, you ever had that feeling when you're like, oh, you know, I'm with family right now, but I need to get back to the office, or I should take, you know, lunch to work, or whatever it is. I want to stop that. I want to completely eliminate that. And the more you do it, if you're freaked out by that concept, or like, why would I take more time off? The more you do it, the more you really realize that none of this matters. This website, it doesn't matter. At your deathbed, are you going to look back and think, man, I'm glad I worked however many hours a week, or I didn't take those vacation days? No, you're going to remember the time you got snowed in and you built a snowman with your kids, or the trip you guys went on. None of this stuff is going to fulfill you in any kind of deep, meaningful manner at the end of your life or in eternity, or it just doesn't matter. And if you don't take anything away, that's probably a good one to end on. So those are my 10 rules. At this point, where are we going from here? There's going to be fewer videos here on the channel, and it's kind of already been that way. I think my last upload was 2 months ago. Or there will be more videos on the channel because I'm enjoying it more. I don't know, but I'm done with this tight-chested thing that has been this channel. I'm tired of all those things we've already talked about. So going forward, these are the changes that I'm going to try. And if you're a YouTuber, let's keep each other accountable if you're interested in this stuff at all, because it can be very lonely when you're doing this on your own. And on that note, I also want to tag on as we close this probably stupidly long video that I hope you don't also feel like I'm not grateful, or that was a weird way to word it, but I'm very grateful for this job. I just want to take it from a job and try to get it back to maybe dream job status, which is still a job, and I totally understand that. And I'm very grateful that it's been able to support me and my family, but I do not want to just do something that's going to slowly kill me when it comes to stress. So I think that's probably a good place to stop talking. I love you guys. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in more videos here on the channel.